Greetings and welcome to Mobility Conversations. Today we have with us Ms. Esther Maria Loidl, Chief Human Resource Officer at Freudenberg SE and member of Management Board of Freudenberg and Company. Welcome, Esther.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. First, let me ask you about the pandemic. So that's the topic. So it has actually upset the entire industry across the world. So let me ask you about, from the human resource point of view, how did you manage to tide over the crisis? From there, we can take it to the next questions.
Yeah, obviously, like for all the companies, COVID presented a lot of challenges, especially at the beginning. So we are a producing company. 50% of our associates work in production and cannot choose the place they can work on. So they cannot work from home. They have to be at the machine. Yeah. So for us, it was very important to create a safe environment for our production workers, to make sure we have all these health measures in place, support them with testing, support them with protective gear, with face masks, then making sure that they have access to vaccines, all to be able to come back to work and make their work environment safe, that they have a certain distance from their colleagues and so on. So this was really our first priority, looking after our colleagues in production, and then also to make sure that our colleagues who work in offices, who have the possibility to work from home, are equipped to do so, and that we find a way of work from home that maintains productivity in our company.
Okay. So there is always a learning in the crisis. So what are the learnings for you?
Yeah, so the learnings are that things are possible that we didn't think that were possible. So this working in a more digital way, to interact digital, to get really used to work with digital tools. I believe that was a massive learning curve for all of us. So topics that we thought that weren't possible, for example, having trainings we traditionally always had in a classroom, to have them in an online setting. This was something we had to learn on how to do it. And I would say now we are very good at it. And there are certain things we wouldn't go back to a classroom setting in the training context. Also, the maturity of meetings. If you are kind of teaching something, if you're sharing information, that really can't be done in a very efficient way online. And also for creative sessions, we found very, very unique tools that help us to even do creative workshops in an online setting, and we learned a lot. So many things are possible we thought that weren't possible.
But one key element of the human resource management is motivating people, especially in this crisis. So how are you able to do it?
Yeah, that's part of leadership. That's all our job as managers of leaders, to motivate our associates to keep in touch, to keep in contact. So if we are missing this human interaction, to be face to face, to really catch up with your colleagues, catch up with your associates, make sure that everybody is informed, that everybody is involved and included, and people don't feel isolated and left at home. And for us as a manufacturing company, it was also important to not have a divide between our production staff who was on site and the colleagues who were working from home. So also there have joint communication sessions and make sure that both parties understand that why they have to be where they have to be, and that we're still working towards a common goal. This was a very important aspect during this time of the pandemic.
That's interesting. A lot of initiatives have gone into.
Yeah.
So I think you had this 2018 to 20 strategic period that focused on mobility, digitalization, and sustainability. So that influenced, how has it influenced Freudenberg during the pandemic?
So we still have a big focus on mobility, we still have a big focus on digitalization and on sustainability, and it really showed that we are focusing on the right topics that path our way to the future. Sustainability is a very important topic for us, not only making sure that we control our footprint, so the CO2 emission of our operations, but also to look into our product portfolio and how can we really contribute with the handprint with our products for a more sustainable future. talking about mobility, we're looking into mobility applications for our different e-applications. We have lots of products that support battery-driven cars, that support also other modern ways of moving. And there, I think we are on the right path also with our battery and fuel cell business, where we not only supply the components, but also looking into whole systems in this area.
Yeah, I think exactly 20 years ago, Freudenberg introduced, we take care, we all take care, that initiative. How that particular initiative helped you in managing the mother of the crisis?
So We All Take Care is our initiative where we look into improving health and safety of our employees. So this was exactly the right tool to address also the challenges that have to do with COVID. So we didn't lose track in looking into workplace safety. We didn't lose track in looking into a safe environment for our associates, like I mentioned before. Protective gear, having a safe work environment was a very important initiative. And part of this We All Take Care initiative is an award our locations can apply to every year. So we get many, many ideas and applications from all around the world with ideas on how to improve workplace safety and how to improve health of our associates, and also how to contribute to the environment in their locations. So we are keeping up with that. And just recently we had the award ceremony for this year and the jury meeting to look into the proposals that came out of this time of the pandemic. And it's amazing how many great initiatives we find all over the world. And very happy to continue working on this We All Take Care.
Do you think there is an update required for the strategy?
I think we are on the right path. Obviously, not only the pandemic, but also everything that's happening around us requires us to continuously reevaluate and adjust a little bit in what we are doing and how we are doing it. And for sure, we are learning and seeing that we are moving in a more, back from this globalization trend, more into a regional, local setting. And that's also we have to take into consideration and factor into our strategic approach that you probably in the future, it doesn't make sense to ship parts from A to B long distances, but also have a more regional focus regarding production, regarding our supply chain, but also regarding our talents to make sure we have good talents in our regions.
Okay. I think Freudenberg also has the People Plus project. So once it was introduced, is it going to be a standalone or it's going to be perennial all through?
The People Plus project was the introduction of worldwide HR processes with the support of a software. So this is something we initiated some years ago, and we went live with our software solution actually during the pandemic, which was a very interesting challenge. And we will continue improving our worldwide global processes that cover all our different business groups to make sure that when we talk about human resources, when we talk about the different tools to support our employees, we have one approach. We don't leave anybody behind, so we make sure we have the same standards, the same quality, the same tools globally. So this is why we also call that People Plus. It's really a people-centric approach.
So if you can list out the benefits of the project before and after, what are they? Maybe one or two you can mention.
Yeah, so this was really people-centric, so we want to make it easy for our associates, but also our managers to really steer their career, to take really control of their career. So we implemented different tools. We improved our talent management process on the way to really showcase and exposure, give our talents exposure in the company, make sure that people have development measures, have their development plan. And most recently we introduced our new recruiting platform, which is accessible for external candidates and hopefully makes the process to apply for a job more seamless, more easy, more candidate orientated, but also for for our internal talents to have this transparency of opportunities with the company, and they can apply with one click. So it's really easy to also move inside the company, and that's what we want. We are a big group in 60 countries and with many, many opportunities.
This will also help the freshers to know about what's happening and then apply at
Exactly.
ease.
Yeah. So they also have they see their development programs. They can talk about their own wishes, their own perspectives for their career, and that's considered and taken into this whole process of talent management.
I think in 2021, last year, the geopolitical situation, the variables were at its peak, due to several conditions happening in different economies. As a CHRO, how were you able to manage, because you have plants across the globe?
Yes. So this very diverse situation all over the globe obviously also calls for a local reaction, to be able to react quickly and to apply our different tools and processes and standards we have also with a local flavor. So for us, especially over the last year, but also now, it is very important to have the right talent base. So it is challenging and important to keep our employees engaged with the company, to have an environment where they stay. They're not looking for a job elsewhere, and I think we're achieving that pretty good, but also be attractive for future employees. So employer branding is an important topic, and find the right talents that fit the company, that fit with our company culture, and hopefully stay for us for a long time.
Yeah, great. That's interesting to know. What are the risks that you see in handling HR, human resources, due to evolution of technologies and product and process obsolescence?
Yeah, I think there is a risk, but maybe also a big opportunity in technological advancement. So I just talked about availability of talent. So talent isn't all over the globe easily available. And when you look, for example, into production jobs in some countries, they're really difficult to fill. And this will not change due to the demographic development in these countries. So there it is important to also look into more automized processes, but also digitalization for our normal office jobs plays an important role. I'm sure some jobs will disappear, but there are massive opportunities for new and upcoming jobs and positions we might not even be able to describe now. We don't know what's coming. But I think there are very interesting challenges ahead, and that's why we are always looking for people who have the ability to grow with their job and who are ready for the future, and who can really then develop with these challenges and maybe start in one area, but then evolve and discover a complete new area and develop into this field. So I think more opportunities really than
So that means
threats.
the HR strategy is ever evolving. You have to manage as and when you find a new situation.
Exactly. So we have to evolve, we have to be agile, we have to be able to adapt, because sometimes situations really change from one moment to the next, so we have to be able to react to it. And our key tasks are really developing our workforce and making sure we have the right people in the right place.
But since you are responsible for the global operations, and the entire Freudenberg operations across the world, the culture is different. Like for Asia is different, Europe is different, and other places. So, but how do you strategize your HR policy that can be suitable for all?
Yeah, I think there is this saying, think global, act local. So we do have strategies that we apply all over the world. We have tools that are valid for the whole group and for the whole world. But obviously we give them, if necessary, a cultural adaptation. So you have maybe one process where in one country something is added, or you're having conversations in a different way, you give it another focus. But overall, we do want to have one approach and make sure that all our talents globally are developed in the same way, in the same path, and not left behind. But culture is obviously important, the company culture, as much as local culture, and there we have to be inclusive and make sure that everybody is on board.
My final question is on your short-term and long-term plans for formulating a robust HR strategy for Freudenberg.
Yeah, I think we are on a journey, and like I said before, things are evolving, so we have set a very good foundation with tools which are continuously improving, and I think we can still do much more, taking care of our associates, making sure that we are an attractive employer and that we really move with all the challenges ahead. So I think, an interesting future. It's not going to be boring, so I'm looking forward to it.
Interesting future. On this note, Esther, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. Thank you so much for participating in Mobility Conversations.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.